Well, playing politics with race coming up again. A Democratic congressman slamming Senator Tim Scott for being black and a Republican. James Clyburn complaining to the Washington Post, if you call progress electing a person with the pigmentation that he has, who votes against the interests and aspirations of 95% of the black people in South Carolina, I guess that's progress. So is this over the line? Joining us now for a fair and balanced debate, our RNC Deputy Press Secretary Ruffy Williams and radio talk show host Richard Fowler. Thanks for being here, both of you. Richard, I'm going to start with you. Doesn't Representative Clyburn, in saying this, shouldn't he really be more concerned about Senator Scott representing all people from South Carolina, not just black people from South Carolina?
Elizabeth, I think the congressman is saying that. I think if you look at Tim Scott's voting record, one piece in particular is when he pushed forward a measure that would allow for more voter IDs in the state of South Carolina. There's cause for pause here, and I think that's what Senator Clyburn is referring to, and that's what he's saying, and it goes beyond race. It goes beyond the fact that he is voting against the interests of the people of South Carolina, and that's just disheartening and downright wrong.
Well, it doesn't seem to go beyond race if he's actually calling race into the equation here. Rafi, how do you respond to that?
Well, these comments are just awful. They're offensive, and they have no place in the political dialogue. And I think what you're seeing here is he's throwing the race card into the game here. When Tim Scott really works at representing all South Carolinians, he has an economic program for school choice and for job training programs that will help all South Carolinians, lift them all up. And I think to try to attack him based on race or say he has to represent only one race of people is wrong. Look, even President Obama has said he's the president for all Americans, not just African Americans, and Tim Scott's the senator from South Carolina for all Americans, not just for all South Carolinians, not just black South Carolinians.
Is this a form of oppression to actually take someone by their race and say you should be being a politician for a certain division of our nation, a certain division of your constituents, a certain division of the people in the state you represent? I mean, isn't that oppressing the way someone would govern or represent?
I mean, I think that it puts people into boxes, and I think the best part about America is we're a mixing bowl, and I think that anybody can do whatever they put their mind to and saying, you know, because you're black, you have to believe this certain way or think this certain route is wrong. And I think that that's a problem we're seeing a lot with some of these groups out there that think that if you're black, you have to think a certain way. You can't be free thinking or have a debate about ideas.
I mean, isn't he, Richard, isn't he entitled to be able to, you know, represent, govern, be a senator the way he believes is best for that state?
No, I completely agree with you, Elizabeth. I think he has the right to think outside the box, and he has the right to be different. But I think Senator Clyburn, being that he's been in the Congress for so long, he knows the people of South Carolina. He's represented them for longer than Tim Scott has. He has a reason to call Tim Scott's voting record to question, and I think that's exactly what he's doing here.
Tim Scott's been a public servant in South Carolina for the past 20 years, and I think he knows his state very well.
Clyburn has been a servant for longer than that, but that goes beyond the point. He's been in the State House. He's been now in the Congress. Now he's in leadership in the Democratic Congress.
This became a matter more beyond, I will say, voting. This became a matter of race when he said, based on his skin color here, he should be voting a different way. I'm paraphrasing there, but when he brings skin color in by his philosophy, then a white senator should be governing and representing and voting based on what's best for white people, no?
I mean, that's exactly true. I think that's the problem here, is that he should be focusing on the idea, debating him on the ideas, not bringing race into it and saying because he's black, he doesn't represent black people. He should say, well, because of X, Y, and Z. Make a poignant point, but don't just take these broad swathe attacks.
Richard Lessard?
But wait a minute, I think he did make a poignant point here, and the point that he made, it doesn't matter if the member is white, black, Asian, purple, yellow, green, or orange. What you want is a representative that will stand up for the people of South Carolina. And when 24% of the children in South Carolina are in poverty, and your voting record is against that, we have a serious problem. And that's exactly what Senator Clyburn, Congressman Clyburn is talking about.
We have had a great debate this morning. We're going to have to leave it there. We invite you both back anytime.